Hmm. Okay. Okay, boom. Cute. Okay. Oh, Jesse, hello. Well, hello. Oh, well, fine. Fuck you. Damn it. No, I cannot. And if you fuck me over with sound this week, I swear to God. You know who's not going to screw us up with sound? Dave Padilla. If he comes on. I'm giving Tiff a bath. Well, isn't that nice? Dave, I don't even see you. This is like I hate to be futzing with this right now. There we go. It's like the one thing Attila said. He's like, stop fussing around with your equipment when you go live. Have it done ahead of time. Get your studio in order. And I said, I know. I'm sorry. So I'm a little off my game. All right, come here, Walker. Okay, well, Dave, while I'm waiting for you, welcome to MILF Hotline, everybody. I'm your host, Jennifer Dallas, coming to you from the very hot and humid San Fernando Valley in Los Angeles, California. This is my co-host today, Walker, Texas Ranger. And whoop, I am inviting everybody here. Let's see. Boom. And I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing. Whoa, that's...
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good.
What?
I'm under the water. Please help me.
You're underwater?
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool filter.
No, it's not a filter. You can check.
You're just underwater.
Yeah, I'm under the water.
I wish I could
Really?
save you.
Oh, please
Where,
save me.
where are you underwater from?
Yes, you wanna see?
I
See.
do. Here, wait. Oh, that's dope. Okay. So you're not really underwater. Hold on, Dave, you're
Yeah.
just caught, like, how do you know? Who are all these people?
How do you get out?
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
You're
Unless you
good.
want to stay on and play bingo.
There we go. Okay, Dave, you should be good. It's been actually that was pretty exciting. There you are. Did you see my
There we
chicken
go.
guest that came on? That was kind of fun.
I did. I've got to do that bottle challenge next time or
It
whatever
was
that
really
is.
cute. I know. It's okay. So anyway, hold on. I'm just like seeing all these things. It's like invite to go live. I mean, I can. Um, Jesse, I see. Wait, I saw my dad for his birthday the other day, but I hugged him only for 2 seconds. Oh no, I can't say that. I'm gonna be in big trouble. I'm gonna be in big trouble. Kate, hello. She's on the other side. Okay, I'm gonna start over. Dave, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Just nursing an injured ankle,
Yeah.
feeding a hungry cat.
You know, I understand the hungry cat. I haven't really eaten all day. I got McDonald's for me and Kennedy right after school. And hello, Kate. Mwah. And I barely ate it. Like I want to talk about a little bit before we get into the topic. And I know my board is backwards and we're back to square one with the whole camera
I
flip
showed I
around.
I showed you how to do that last time, right?
You know what? I'm not gonna fuck with it today.
It's probably for the best.
It's already so much going on. Um, so I didn't eat a lot today. And when I don't, that just feeds my anxiety. Like I'm fine. Who's this? It feeds my anxiety. So what happens is um I start talking faster and I feel anxious, but I'm okay. So when you have anxiety, it's important to have a diet, like a balanced diet, because anxiety will feed off of those, like, give you extra stomach acid and all that. So, and then I was kind of off my schedule with my meds for the last weekend. So I was sleeping in a lot and taking my meds later. And that would make me slow. Now I'm getting up earlier again and taking my meds at a normal time. And I'm talking a million miles an hour. So I am very aware of it. But Dave, you get the permission. If I'm going too fast, I want you to say, hey, just slow down, or however you think the most gentle way to say it to me would be. Go ahead and do that.
Can I be like, whoa, Jen?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Jen, pull
All
back
right.
on the reins,
Perfect. I got
Yeah.
it. All right.
Horse references are always welcome. So if I'm going a little too fast. So anyway, we're going to start over real quick. Welcome to MILF Hotline. I'm Jennifer Dallas. This is Walker, Texas Ranger, one of our dog boarding clients. Joining us from Palms, California is Dave Padilla. How are you again today, Dave? You're doing good?
Yeah, you know what? I'm doing fantastic.
Okay. All right, well, let's jump right in. To today's topic. Oh my God, wait. Pause. I told you I renamed all of my surveillance cameras, like because my dog had been going out eating the cat food, or one of them. So now on my phone it pops up like, "Are you fucking serious, Maggie? Where are you, Maggie?" So it's a little distracting. Anyway, today's topic is something I'm a little familiar with, and I've got actually some operator input today. It's long distance relationships. Oh, there's Attila. I'm going to wave to Attila on this side, and I'm really glad Attila's joining now, and he didn't see the first 30 seconds when I was trying to grab something and both devices fell over. So Attila, I'm sorry. I know you told me to be better. I know you told me to get the ring light. I've got the ring light. I've got to get the ring light out. So he's been encouraging me to have a studio, right? Have it more soundproof and all that. So next week I am going to have it together. But anyway, long distance relationships. Are they the right distance? Are they the wrong distance? Anyway, so I had some operator input and I wanted to talk to everyone a little bit about it. And also, this is episode 10. We've made it, Dave. 10 weeks.
All right. Well, I'm glad that I will be able to join for Lucky 11 too. Oh, wait.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, and I also wanted to say real quick before we jump in, we wish the Portland Beaver a speedy recovery as she is recovering in Portland with COVID. I talked to her on the phone earlier today. She looked great. She sounded better. I said, are you going to be listening instead of joining in? She says, absolutely not. So I want everyone to message Jocelyn and, give her some shit for not being here tonight. Okay. So let me pull up my notes. Also, my table, I'm really batting 1,000 today because my table that I use is outside, and this is, anyway, I hope it looks good. Dave, do you have any experience with a long distance relationship? Not like ours across the 405, but like out of a time zone or out of state or country?
Only during, I guess, what, high school, maybe after. Briefly, well, no, not briefly, but I mean, I was dating somebody who went to college on the East Coast, and oftentimes she would be away, like in Oregon, for a long periods of
Okay.
time. But I think the East Coast one is probably the most relevant.
Okay. Wait, hold on. Let me see who's here trying to join. I'm just curious now. Oh, Jesse. Okay, we'll let him come in. Hey, Jesse. When I first met Alex, right, I was living here in LA and he was in Denver. And, we weren't trying to do a long distance thing at first, right? It became that. And it wasn't for as long as some people. And also, I think what made it, different for me was when I went to go visit in Denver, I was like, I want to get out of LA. I want to do Denver. Where I do think that, and when we talk about some of these topics, is that I think a big challenge, right, when you're in a different time zone like a huge different time zone. Like we were lucky; it was just an hour. It's Mountain Time. But like you said, East Coast. I have a friend that said he was dating someone out of the country. I know when you travel, Dave, to other countries, that's hard for us, right? Just to
Yeah.
navigate the time difference. So I can only imagine the complications for people trying to do this for real that are not even remotely in the same country.
Yeah.
We've all seen 90 Day Fiance. So I think I was going to say, I think that like some people with long distance relationships, they either thrive, right? Or they crash. And I think that absence can make the heart grow fonder, but it can also make things really paranoid and bad, right? So I came up with a list. Sorry. I came up with a list and I'm going to put it over. I think Attila's probably watching this going, you know what? I'm really glad I took her out for that matcha and gave her an hour of my time and nothing changed this week.
Hey, Jen.
Yeah.
I actually had a couple of long distance relationships.
Okay, wait, are you far away from your phone? I want to.
Are you underwater, Jesse?
Jesse, oh, you missed it. We had an underwater guest right at the beginning, and then he left me.
I saw.
It was pretty cool. I'm gaining traction, maybe.
I dated a girl that was in Texas.
Okay, keep going. Yeah, tell us about that.
Well, I met her I met her through a friend because I was going to the tattoo convention in Texas, and she was like a roommate.
Okay.
And then we rekindled like 5 years later. And then at first it was peaches and cream. There was, oh yeah, I'm gonna do my thing in Cali. You're gonna do your thing in Texas. We're gonna get like our shit together, or our stuff together, and then we're gonna eventually, hopefully, maybe move in or plan something. Whether I go to Texas or she comes to Cali. And then the downfall of the relationship was the traveling was like we weren't established yet. Like if I had like my stuff together, she had her stuff together, one of us could move into each other's place and go from there. But we were both literally just figuring our life out, so we just decided to end it.
How old were you?
I was 30 and she was.
So this was recent.
Yeah, I was recently a couple of years ago, but I wasn't like planning on marrying the girl. But I was just like, oh yeah, if we want to go take it serious, like I didn't mind the distance, to be honest, because I like alone time too.
Someone said, "Is that a hamburger?" Someone said, "Oh, Walker, you're a little snack to some of our operators out there." He's Russian. They have hamburgers in Russia? So, how soon in that relationship did you talk about relocating?
Oh, like right away. Like I was like, I like you, you like me. We get along so well when we're together. Eventually, we're gonna have to either you come to Cali or me go to Texas, and we're gonna have to figure our lives out if we really do like each other a lot, because the vibes were there and we got along so well and everything. It's just what killed both of us was obviously not seeing each other. Like we only see each other like once a month, basically.
I mean,
How
once
often
a
would
month.
you two talk?
Yeah.
Well, I've known her for years, probably like 7 years.
Okay.
No, but how often would you talk to each other
Oh,
like on the
every day.
phone or
Every
Every
day.
day.
every day? Yeah.
Did you guys FaceTime a lot?
Yeah, all the time. FaceTime. We would watch movies together. You know that whole thing where you call them and then you press play at the same time.
That's so cute.
Yeah, stuff like that. So we would do all like the cute stuff and everything. It's just eventually, I mean, me personally, I like being like physically like they're like cuddling, hugging. I can't deal like that's why I told her right off the bat. I'm like either one of us are gonna have to move in or something eventually. Yeah.
Well, okay, so question. I have so many questions.
Yeah.
But one of is what with the traveling aspect.
Yeah.
Was one of you traveling more than the other, or was it
It
equal?
was equal. First I would
Okay.
go to Texas, then she would come to Cali, and I met her whole family too.
Wow.
She met my family.
Did you have Tiffany at the time? No, you couldn't have.
Yeah, I did. No, I did.
You did. So were
Yeah.
you bringing Tiffany? Tiffany
No,
is
my
Jesse's
grandpa took
bulldog.
it Before I met you, so I had to have my grandpa babysit her.
Okay. So eventually, the financial is what kind of.
Yeah, and another thing too, she kind of got like insecure or jealous, like like because I was like out, like if I would go out with my friends or something, she would be
Well,
asking.
and I think that's a big thing, right? Is
Yeah.
a big challenge in long distance relationships is having that trust factor because you each have to. Are you coming up here? Come on. You each have to have a life, right? You can't
Oh,
just,
yeah, 100%, 100%. But you see, she didn't want to see. I was getting my stuff together with the job and all that, but she was just staying home and just wasting time. So she would
oh,
just
so
see
she
that.
wasn't even working
No,
in
she wasn't
Texas.
even working. She would just stay home and worry everything about that I was doing. So I was like, yo, like this isn't gonna work out. You're gonna need.
This may be a trend with these
Yeah.
girls with you, but that's another episode on
Like
that's
this.
a special MILF hotline where we dissect your type, but that could go for everybody.
Yeah.
But so how could she afford to come out here if she wasn't working, or did she burn through her savings?
She was just the type to like burn through her savings, ask her family for money, and just like do odd jobs to make money or whatever. Like,
I will say this. A good friend of mine, I'm trying to keep everyone anonymous until they, unless I know I'm going to talk about them.
yeah.
But a friend of mine who lives in Florida has a place in Nashville that he got because he was with this girl that lived there, and he loved Nashville. He still got the house, and he was telling me. Now, mind you, this friend, he's probably financially the most responsible person I know. And Dave, I know you're really responsible, but this individual, I think, same thing, like you had to grow up pretty quick. And so, but he would take these budget Spirit airline flights, right? Like they were like, I think he said $60. And he would be, in his one location for a certain amount of days and do a quick long weekend over in Nashville and take another cheap flight back. There are definite ways you can do it, but I think, flying, it's expensive. So that does get like exhausting. Like I was lucky when I was living in California and trying to go to Denver, because I was also trying to move there. And so, and in the field I was working in, which was the horse industry, I was trying to get a horse job in Denver, and I had tons of connections. So I would go, and I would go for work, right? And I was working when I would go, and I could write off all of my airfare and things like that as a business expense. I was very lucky to be able to mix business with pleasure, right? Not everybody has that opportunity. And when you say too, like, it's not just the travel expenses that can get you guys, right? It's also, oh, my girl Jenny over here. Hello, Jenny. It's not just the travel expenses in long distance relationships. It's taking the time off of work. It's spending the money when you're there. I mean, I'm sure if, when I would go to Colorado, I'd be like, well, let's go out. Because, it's a vacation for me. Or he'd come here twice. But at some point, that vacation vibe goes away, right? So how do you keep that romance alive? So how long were you with this girl?
We were dating probably for like 6 months
That's
when we made it official.
that's when you do know you're either gonna make it or you're not, right? Or like, that's what do you call it? Like a jumping off point. I hate that phrase, shit or get off the pot. I hate that. But at that point, after 6 months, even in your 30s, I mean, I don't know, Dave, do you think that's enough time to then be like, one of us is going to start having to make a decision, or 6 months too soon?
I think it really kind of depends on where you are with in life, right? I mean, you hear stories all the time of people who go away for school and they make it work.
Yeah.
And I think it really kind of comes down to like, like in a situation like that, like you really, you have to kind of accept the fact that somebody's going to be away doing something for a long period of time. I mean, and it really comes down to like, do both people, are both people willing to make the sacrifices that are needed to maintain communication and to be able to visit each other? But do you
Oh,
also
she
understand
was
that it's
young too.
something that could be temporary, right?
Right.
And that's hard to deal with. Some people,
She was young.
really have a hard time being away with, from somebody for a day or a week or a month or a longer period of time.
Oh,
But, that comes down to everybody's comfort level, but I think, really kind of figuring out together what works best for you is what ultimately determines if it works or not.
Jenny on the Instagram stream, and she's one of my girls that works in Hidden Hills. And she says, I'm not even in a long distance relationship, and I don't know if it's going to work. Girl, I feel that so spiritually. Dave and I constantly are saying, ew, that we're in a long distance relationship. We're just across the 405 from each other. I mean, at least we're in the same time zone. But yeah, it's all about comfort levels. And so that kind of brings up another point. Like, how do you keep, when you're in different time zones, different countries, you're long distance? How do you keep your partner involved? How do you include them in things? Jesse made a good point. they would FaceTime and watch movies together, and I think that's super cute. But it's gonna go a little deeper than that, right? Like if you're out at a bar with your friends, even if it's loud or whatever. In my opinion, I think that knowing the like who your significant other is with is a big thing. It's not about control. It's just about being included, right? And I think, maybe a little FaceTime. Snapchat is great for these situations too, right? I mean, I know Snapchat, my 13-year-old daughter and her friends use it, but I like Snapchat. Like I send, Snapchat stuff all the time to my friends out of state, and it's just an easy response, right? But I don't know. Like, I'd love to hear Jesse. Like, what do you think? Like, if you're out, like, here's my friends. I mean, where do you draw the lines of I'm going out, I'm doing this to I need to know where you're going? It was Dave.
Is Jesse still there?
Jesse's muted, I think.
Hold on, sorry, I was just watching my dog. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, so the bad thing, this is what ticked me off too, because I was getting a tattoo and then she was blowing up my phone and I'm like, yo, I'm getting a tattoo, like, leave me alone. And she called me like 20 times.
I'm sure "Leave Me Alone" went over like a lead balloon, but yes, right? Like I think that is a big thing, is respecting people's time
Mhm.
and setting good boundaries, right? I'm getting a tattoo. I'm not gonna have my phone on me, but I'll text you as soon as I'm done or when I get breaks. If you've ever gotten a tattoo, you gotta take time in your session, right? Unless you're getting a little one, you're gonna take that time in the session. So, and that respect of other people's time, like that can be really hard, I think, when you start to miss somebody. And missing
Yeah.
someone can be
Oh yeah, and then I got
mis-
another.
jealousy.
So at the time, my job profession at the time, I was like a chauffeur for like rich people in Beverly Hills. I was like a limousine driver, like a
Kids lived a
private.
million lives.
Yeah, I know. So I'm driving around like wealthy people, and then I'm telling her, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna be busy from like 12 o'clock in the afternoon to like 10 o'clock at night. Yeah, I can text you, call you on my breaks, but I can't be having long conversations because I'm on call like at any second.
Right.
And then she would get pissed off. She'll be like, "Oh, you don't care about me, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Yo, like I'm literally working right here. The proof is in the pudding. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm literally working for this family for like a whole month. Like all the money I'm gonna be making with this family is gonna help me like pay for the trip to see you in Texas or help you when you come to Cali." And then she's just making a big deal. "Oh, you don't care about me, blah blah blah." I'm just like,
That is really hard,
because
especially when
her problem was too. She had like abandonment issues, and she was just like, she wanted attention 24/7. You know.
so it sounds like it was the wrong distance for her.
Yeah,
Not to relationship shame. It's not for everybody, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have a life of your own,
Mhm.
and that goes for any relationship, right? Like, thank God Dave has a life. I like to think I have a life. This is my life, but I do like a lot. I like to be home and things like that. But like, it's very important for any relationship. You each have to have your own interests, and if you don't, you're gonna sink for sure.
Yeah, and that's why I respect people, especially older people or anybody with a career or a job and responsibilities. Like, because obviously you're busy, I'm not going to bug you. You know, I'm busy, like I'm working or I'm doing something important. And it shouldn't just be like one person is responsible and then the other one's irresponsible, so they could just text you all day or bug you all day, you know, and think that they could call you at any moment, whim.
Well, and then what happens when you guys reunite? You know what I mean? It must feel
Yeah.
like you as the one who's getting the pressure put on. That feels like a lot of
Well,
stress. I
dude,
mean,
when
maybe.
when she finally came on the airport, dude, she was complaining on the plane ride here. She's like, "Oh, you don't want to see me. It doesn't seem like you want to see me." I'm like, "Dude, I'm really on my way to pick you up on the airport." And I was like, and that turned me off for the whole, because she stayed for a week, and then that pissed me off like the whole week. I was like, "Yo, like, I was happy to see you for like a whole month, and then you hit me with, oh, you don't really want to see me," like, you know, that whole
Yeah,
game that people play. "Oh, you don't like me, you don't want to see me, you don't show any effort."
the games.
Yeah, games.
The
I'm just
games
like,
of no, I really do want to see you. That's
yeah,
why you're coming here.
yeah. And
That's
she's like,
rough.
I need words of affirmation. I need like reassurance. I'm like, dude, I am the reassurance. Like, I
Yeah.
said that you were gonna be my girlfriend. That's the reassurance right there.
Well,
Thank you.
it's a good thing you let those 6 months take its course because
Yeah.
there's nothing. I mean, when you do move, for example, like I want to talk about. Could you
Mhm.
please, just to give everyone an idea of why the dog keeps losing his mind? Kennedy is outside with like six dogs, like are boarding dogs and whatever,
Mhm.
and they're running around and they see Walker in here and I have Bodie in here and they're just like, can we come in? And absolutely not. I want to talk about some of the positive things that can work in a long distance relationship, and then we'll kind of go back to some experiences. Um, so I love all my tools here. So how it's working? It's I think long distance can be great for people that are really busy. They commute a lot for work, busy professionals without a lot of emotional connection during the day. um it can also be like the constant honeymoon. Oh, we're gonna wave at Kennedy. She's out in the backyard. Pause really quick since I know Kennedy's joining on the other stream. I just want to give her a quick shout out. What makes me a MILF is I have a child, right? And today was her first day of school as an eighth grader. She's not happy about going back to school. This girl's alarm goes off at 6:50. She is out of bed. I was shocked. Got herself ready. She looked amazing. Was rushing me out the door at 7:40. So I just want to say, way to go, girl. You did a great job. So that's my positive kid thing for the day. But anyway, let's go back. So it could be if you weren't really even considering relocating for a long distance relationship, you do get to potentially enjoy the best parts of each other all the time, right? There are always mini vacations. Even if you're not financially equipped to always make it like we're going out to dinner or, like coming to California, like we're going to Disneyland, we're going to go do this, even if you weren't always doing that, there's ways to really enjoy each other's company, and that when you're traveling, and it keeps that romance alive. Like, let's be real. Sexting, things like that, what is this, more like mother I'd like to stay away from. Oh, that's not cool. I'm a dope mom, and everyone knows that. So Jibby. But back to it. What was I saying? Jesse, what was I saying? Keeping the romance alive. They're sexting, they're sending nudes, they're sending videos. There's a lot of ways to keep that alive. And then you've got that physical connection when you do see each other and you're longing for it, right? Like, that's something that you genuinely want. You should, right? So you're always each other's happy place. Whereas if it's not working, like what you were saying, Jesse, there's a lot of codependence, spiraling, like anxiety of not living. Hey, Dave, not living in the same city. So I do think that there is that timeline of, if you think that one of you wants to relocate, that's great. But maybe there's a situation where neither of you want to relocate and you're cool just being, like commuter relationship. But I will say that what we were talking about is that the biggest triggers are jealousy, time zone fatigue. If you're like just traveling to mountain time or even central, it's a couple hours. It's not that as big of a deal, but like the East Coast can be exhausting, right? And definitely going over the pond, either way is also very tiring. If somebody lives in a 17-hour ahead time zone, you're exhausted. One of you is getting up when the other one is going to bed. Am I right, Dave?
No, yeah, yeah, you're correct. That does tend to happen.
Okay.
But I think,
So
in those specific types of situations, though, I mean, I think, and this is probably, very specific to our example is, I recently traveled to Europe, and I had traveled to Japan earlier this year, and I'd say that, like, the second trip was a bit easier because, or at least it was a little bit easier on us because, we discussed when we would communicate, how we would communicate, and I think that, that transparency and that kind of, understanding of how it was that we were going to talk when, I was hours ahead of you and thousands of miles away, like, that at least ensured that, like, we knew when we were going to chat, how we were going to chat, and it didn't cause any confusion. Whereas I think the first time I went to Japan, it certainly was a case where, we didn't understand each other's schedules, we didn't really know when we'd communicate, and that made it infinitely harder because it kind of became a kind of whack-a-mole in terms of when somebody would be available to talk.
Totally. And making that time, it's no different than making time for each other physically, right? It is making time for each other, period. Um, and so, and then making that person feel, like I said, included and important because you're taking time out of your day. And I think also it's important to mention that if you are going to do a long distance relationship, and like I was saying earlier, you have to have a life, but not to neglect your other, relationships as far as your personal relationships are concerned. Not neglecting them for fear that your partner is going to feel left out. That's why I think it's really important to include your people, meeting, like if you meet new friends or, things like that. It's important to share that with your partner because you can be like, who's that? Who's that in the background? That can be very exhausting and nerve wracking. Even the most secure people get nervous about stuff like that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so there was a couple other things that I had written down. So a close friend of mine shared her story today, and I'm going to share it. And what she was, because she's here, and he's in the Pacific Northwest, and so they take a lot of time. She also does a lot of commuting for work, and they take a lot of time where they go back and forth, and they stay for like a few weeks at a time. And she was saying the success is if you have the means, it's nice to be able to plan trips that allow you to get to know each other beyond your home turf. You'll learn a lot about your people in newer settings, and that helps both of you. So not having, having like neutral ground, right? She says, I love this. FaceTime happy hour. You're going to have a drink most days, and they are too, if you're those people, right? Why not make it something you do together, get to interact in a way that would be normal if you were living together, but isn't possible in the moment? And that can go further than just happy hour, but that's a really great compromise. And you can meet some cool people that way. Now, the challenge is understanding what their life looks like when you're not around. And that's really important from the partner, right? It's not just you having a life and them having a life. It's you understanding what their life is. I like that a lot. Sometimes you have to try to call, text, and FaceTime. And if they don't have space for it in their day, you're going to have to figure that out. You can't hold it against them every single day. Be willing to be understanding about that type of thing and not be so insecure that you pick a fight about it. And I think that goes back to when we were saying you want to be included. But unfortunately, if you don't have someone to come home to at night and you are really busy and you can't just kiss someone, on the cheek and go to bed, you're going to have to let that go. And just not be upset about it. I mean, let it go at least once. Make sure you have other parts of your life to fill the gaps when they're not around: reading, sports, social clubs, anything. We do horses, right? But you'll feel better. You'll feel way better being on your own for periods of time without them if you know you have friends to see, places to go. So I think we're all on the right track. So, Dave, I'm going to ask you a really important question now.
Of course.
Let's just say I'm like, you know what, Dave, I want to move to New York. We've talked about that. I've said it's not a big secret. Like when Kennedy goes to college or whatever, I love New York and I really would like to go to New York. Now, in this scenario, I'm obviously so successful, right? Like Milk Hotline is a national brand. Everyone's wearing merch. It's a household name. Now boarding has franchised. My French bulldogs maybe have made so many babies. I don't know. I have money. In this scenario, I have money. So let's just say I was like, Dave, I really love you and I want to go to New York. And you say, I'm not ready to go to New York. What would you do?
I mean, I think that, yeah.
You don't have to make it as David, I'm not
Yeah.
going tomorrow. But
Well, I mean, yes, in that specific scenario, I mean, it really kind of comes down to, what your goals are and whether they align. Like I was saying earlier, in the specific example of somebody going to school for a few years, like the goal for one of the partners is to go to school, get an education. And if the goal for the other person is to, stay with them and to support that specific achievement, then it's something where they have to work it out. Now, let's say in the case where you want to go to New York, you want to be there for a while to support Kennedy and to, just basically, maybe branch out, right, and establish MILF Hotline East. Then it
In
really
this
kind of comes down.
situation, is Kennedy going to school at NYU or?
Yeah, she's going there twice, for a
Oh my
master's
God,
too.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
She's now
exactly.
she's getting her master's.
Yes. No, but I mean,
I hope she's still listening.
but in that specific situation, I mean, it really kind of comes down to what the goals are for both people, right? Because it could be that maybe my goal is, to build a house here, have like a ton of pets, maybe have another kid. You never know what it is. And the
Yeah.
thing is in that specific situation, if the goals aren't really aligned, then, it really kind of comes down to a question of whether both people want to try to make it work and to maybe sacrifice a little bit of what they want, or if it ultimately means that they have to go in different directions, right?
You bring up a good point when you said Kennedy, because I didn't even consider that at the beginning. This is a really good point. What if you're in a situation, okay, where you're in a long distance relationship and the other party has a child or children? We're going to take out the potential disasters, right? Exes or, whatever, like dramas. But let's say, that is a situation where you're with someone and they have a kid and you don't. It's going to be a lot harder for that person to relocate, right? And so there's other pressures there of you got to know what you're getting into. So
Yeah,
I
no,
know,
that's absolutely true.
like for me, again, when I was in a long distance relationship, I fell so in love with Denver, right? Not necessarily like, of course, I was interested, the person that I was with was my partner. Well, we were just starting to date, but I was like, I loved Denver. And I tell myself this, and I think I would still do this, but like, if there had been no him, and I had gone to Denver, for another reason, like a concert or something, I really do believe that I still would have loved Denver. Like, let's just say Kate. I met Kate, at Coach, like the tables were turned, and I met Kate at Coachella or any of my Colorado besties. If I met them and I went to go visit them in Denver, I really truly believe that I would have loved Denver so much that I was like, I'm ready for a change. And that may have set my life up a little bit differently, but I genuinely loved it. And, I was lucky because Kennedy was young and I have full custody. So I was like, we're going to Denver. And she's 3 years old going, cool, can I make a snowball? But now if the time is different and she's her age now, there's no way I could do that. Right. If what had happened 8 years ago or 9 years ago is happening now, I couldn't just pack up my kid and go. And I think that dynamic would have been 100% different. And so I think that if you're going to do long distance and someone has pets, even, horses, dogs that can't fly, children, I think it's important to recognize that you, as the one with less responsibilities or dependence, is going to have to face the music that sooner versus later. If you want that person in your life, you're going to have to make some serious uplifting? No, uprooting decisions.
Yes.
So all of that. I think that these are all really good points. But is long distance the wrong distance? I don't think so. I think it just depends on the strength of the two individuals and the dependent factors.
Well,
Yeah,
also if they're willing to make sacrifices for each other to, get to the same endpoint.
yeah, and I don't think love should be defined by an area code either way, Like
Oh,
our parents.
Jesse is an old soul. Listen, he said peaches and cream. What was the other thing he said, Dave? He had another like older phrase,
They
and
call
now
me,
he's like,
they call me
love,
Shakespeare.
love shouldn't be defined by an area code. And you're right. But I will tell you right now, love could be defined by your credit card limit to something I have none of. So keep that in mind. We've all seen 90 Day Fiance, it costs a lot of money to bring somebody over here.
Yeah, and you see, that's why with the girl didn't work out because I'm over here trying to get my life together, and then she's just still stuck on, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, and I'm like, yeah, but I don't have that luxury, I don't have the time, or I don't want to move all the way out there. You move all the way out here, and then I'm ending up babysitting.
Would have been a ton of problems, and financially speaking, you definitely would have been footing the bill for everything.
Yeah.
Then that's rough. Well, I think we've covered everything. I'm really excited for episode 10. So a couple of things before we go. which of course you can't see. So I'm going to have to take a picture of it and I'll put it on all the socials. But I did start, or what do you call it? I created a MILF Hotline Instagram account. So I encourage everyone that's on my Instagram feed to go follow that account. It's MILF _hotline _818. Because I'm going to go live from that Instagram from here on out. And then I post all the replays on YouTube. Also, Attila told me to get a link tree. It's not that easy. I mean, it is, but it isn't. You have to make all of your accounts professional. And then it's a whole 9 like a bulleted point list of things you have to do in order to get that link tree for free. So I'm working on it, but for right now, we've got the link board, and that's just going to have to be good enough, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, or I'll post a picture, and all the links will be in the comments. And you know what? You're just going to have to be a little old-fashioned and bear with me.
What's next week about?
Next week,
It's about Jesse.
Oh,
Jesse, I think we're going to do, you know what? Let me bust open my computer. I think I did want to do the Jesse James, what the hell is your background story? But you know what? I do know what we're going to talk about next week. You ready? For everyone, a little teaser. It's a little fun teaser for next week. We are going to talk about redefining how you say things. Like before you're going to say a little bit of a truth, stop saying I'm sorry before it. For example, I was talking to my aunt about how I don't think my parents are coming out next week to visit like they had said they were going to. And originally my aunt was like, well, I'm sorry, but I went to go say like they should. And I said, why are you sorry? Are you saying something that's not true? And now that I'm saying it out loud live, I hope to God that my mother, she's not going to watch this anyway. She doesn't give a shit. She doesn't give a shit about MILF Hotline. Not that she doesn't give a shit about me, but she really doesn't give a shit about MILF Hotline. But I said, why are you sorry? Are you saying something that's not true? Are you hurting someone's feelings? And so I started saying to myself, instead of saying, listen, I'm sorry, but I don't like that person, I started saying, I'm going to forgive myself for this, but I don't like that person. So I want to get everyone's inputs on, instead of saying, I'm sorry, because are you really sorry if you're about to say it?
no.
No. Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm not putting you
Is
on
that
the
a
spot.
rhetorical question?
It's not even a loaded question, right? It's entertaining hypotheticals. I'm really excited about that topic. There are gray areas too. Like you shouldn't be like, I'm sorry, but that person's ugly, because that's not nice, right? I mean, those are things I might have said in the past, but I'm really working on not being that judgmental bitch. The show has really helped me be a much more understanding, patient person, even if it didn't seem like that. I feel like a big change. But anyway, so that's what next week is going to be about. Next week is going to be about you're about to say a truth, but don't say I'm sorry if you're about to say it and you're not sorry. All right, Jesse, thank you for joining us, even mid-bath with Tiffany. Dave, thank you for filling in for the Portland Beaver today. I know she was really happy to have the week off.
Well, there's small shoes to fill, or big ones. I don't know.
No, they're big. They're big. And then I want to do one little shout out that I'm not sorry to say this. Stephen Costas, my best friend, hasn't joined on one episode. It's been 10 weeks now, and he hasn't been watching the replay. So I hope he watches this replay, because if you are not live with us, if you've not commented on one of my replays next week, I had said that Jesse is now going to be renamed my top baby boo boo, which is Jesse, the highest form of friendship.
I'll take it.
Yeah. So anyway, another good way to get in my good graces, go to my YouTube and become a subscriber. I have 3 subscribers. Dave is one of them, and Tanya is one of them, and I'm pretty sure Chris might be the other one.
Did you get your sticker?
What?
Or not yet? Your MILF Hotline stickers.
I'm getting merch, but I just need someone to help me navigate the website. I pulled it up yesterday. It's Printify or something. Stephanie, my agent, was telling me about it, and I pulled it up and I went, I have no idea how to do
Are you
this.
gonna get a shirt too, or what?
I think I want to do shirts. I do want everyone's opinion on this, but I want to do shirts. I definitely want to do joggers because I live in sweats. I'm going to do stickers. I'm going to start with that. But then for the fall, I'll do hoodies, like for the holidays or something. But I think
Ooh,
for the
sounds great.
shirts, I think the front should say operator, you know, because you guys are all my operators, and then on the back I'll have the logo.
Yeah, it's cute.
You know, because then people say,
Perfect.
what are you an operator of? And you guys, MILF Hotline. Anyway, all right. Well, on that note, thank you everyone for joining. I really appreciate everyone's time and support, and I will see you next Thursday, 6 p.m. PST. And we're going to end on this side first because I know how to do that now.